What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Museum Reviews channel. This is the final episode of our three-part series looking at the permanent collection of the J. Paul Getty Museum. In this episode, we will be looking at the top 15 paintings from 1600 to 1850. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Now, let's get started. Honourable mention, Musical Group on a Balcony, was painted by Dutch painter Gerrit van Honthorst in 1622. The painting depicts smiling and singing figures gathered around a balcony playing musical instruments and inviting the viewers below to join in the fun. The group's facial expressions, along with their bright colourful clothes, heighten the festive and carefree mood. Honourable mention, Christ Cleansing the Temple, was painted by Italian painter Bernardino May in 1655. The painting depicts the New Testament scene in which Christ finds the Temple of Jerusalem turned into a marketplace filled with merchants and money changers during Passover. In response, Christ, displaying righteous anger, drives these people out as they had established a den of thieves. Number 15. The Apostle Simon was painted by Anthony van Dyck in 1618. The Apostle Simon is shown at bust length, and his head is turned, so that his profile is lost or partially obscured by shadow. Simon's left hand rests on a saw, which was the instrument of his martyrdom. Van Dyck also used wavy strokes when detailing the Apostle's hair, eyebrows, and beard. Number 14. Portrait of Anne, Countess of Chesterfield, was painted by English painter Thomas Gainsborough between 1777 and 1778. The portrait depicts Anne Thistlethwaite appearing lost in thought as she sits with her left arm resting on a plinth. Her elaborate blue satin gown, along with her white slippers, represent the typical clothing for English aristocratic women in the 18th century. Number 13. View of the Grand Canal, Santa Maria della Salute, was painted by Italian painter Bernardo Bellotto around 1743. Bellotto presents a cross-section of Venetian society about business on a sunny morning. The scene includes the Baroque church of Santa Maria della Salute to the right of the canal. The church was purposefully placed there so that those coming and going could pause for a moment of prayer. Number 12. Gabriel Bernard de Rieux was painted by French painter Maurice Quentin de Lautour between 1739 and 1741. The monumental portrait of Gabriel Bernard de Rieux, President of the Second Court of Iniquity in the Parliament of Paris, was assembled on separate sheets of paper and mounted on a canvas. This piece served as Lautour's challenge to the traditional use of oil, since he used pastel instead. Number 11. The Fountain of Love was painted by French painter François Boucher in 1748. The large canvas depicts a group of amorous couples accompanied by young children in a lush, green, and leafy setting. The piece originally served as a finished cartoon for a tapestry and was a part of a series of 6 total known as Noble Pastorals. Number 10. Moses and the Messengers from Canaan was painted by Italian painter Giovanni Lanfranco between 1621 to 1624. The painting depicts an Old Testament scene from the Book of Numbers where Moses sent spies to Canaan, the promised land, to determine whether the land bore fruit. As Lanfranco depicts, the messengers come back to Moses bearing grapes, pomegranates, and figs as signs of the bounty of Canaan. Number 9. Portrait of Suzanne Lepelletier de Saint Fargeau was painted by French painter Jacques-Louis David in 1804. Suzanne Le Pelletier, whom the portrait depicts, became a national celebrity at the age of 11 after the murder of her father, the French revolutionary Michel Le Pelletier. After his assassination, Suzanne was titled Daughter of the State by the French nation. Number 8. The Miracle of the Holy House of Loreto was painted by Italian painter Battista Tiepolo in 1743. The painting depicts a 15th century legend which tells of the Virgin Mary's house in Nazareth coming under threat by invading Saracen armies. However, the house was miraculously transported in 1291 to the Holy Land of Loreto, a small town on Italy's Adriatic coast. Number 7. Rembrandt Laughing was painted by Dutch painter Rembrandt Harminch van Rijn around 1628. In this self-portrait, Rembrandt depicts himself, at the age of 22, with his head thrown back and his right hand akimbo. Through these details, Rembrandt was able to brilliantly capture the physical expression of laughter. Number 6. Modern Rome Campo Vaccino was painted by English painter J.M.W. Turner in 1839. The painting depicts the city of Rome if it begins to turn night. The moon rises over the Colosseum on the left, while the sun sets behind the Capitoline Hill on the right. At the time, critics ridiculed this work by Turner and diagnosed him as being afflicted with yellow fever. Number 5. Old Man in Military Costume was painted by Rembrandt between 1630 and 1631. The unknown man in the painting wears what is believed to be a fanciful attire, probably drawn from Rembrandt's collection of costumes. This attire suggests a martial theme in keeping with ideals of Dutch fortitude during the struggle for independence from Spain in the early 17th century. Number 4. The Abduction of Europa was painted by Rembrandt in 1632. The mythological scene depicted was inspired by Ovid's Metamorphoses, in which Jupiter, the king of the gods, transforms himself into a beautiful white ball in order to abduct Europa, Princess of Tyre. Rembrandt utilizes a jewel-like palette and fine brushwork, which was reminiscent of his earlier works. Number 3. Portrait of Louis XIV was painted by French painter Hyacinthe Rigaud in 1701. Rigaud's original portrait of King Louis XIV, which now hangs in the Louvre, was so popular that Rigaud made many copies, including this one. The purpose of these portraits was not to express Louis's character, but to glorify the French monarchy. Number 2. St. Bartholomew was painted by Rembrandt in 1661. The portrait depicts St. Bartholomew holding a knife in his right hand. The knife symbolizes Bartholomew's martyrdom, as it has been said that he was skinned alive for his belief. This piece is just one work from a series of paintings depicting the apostles, which Rembrandt worked on around 1660. Number 1. The Entombment was painted by Flemish painter Peter Paul Rubens in 1612. This powerful work was carefully composed by Rubens, a devout Catholic, to focus on Jesus Christ's sacrifice and suffering. Rubens does this by compelling the viewer to regard the gaping wound in Christ's side, and his face, which is frozen with the agony of death. Behind Christ are mourners, including his mother Mary. Thus, the painting holds many symbolic theological elements. Thank you for watching the last episode of our series, focusing on the J. Paul Getty Museum. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a future video. Stay tuned for some exciting new content coming your way in the next few weeks. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, as your support greatly helps. See you in the next video.